Chuck Todd, he's now realized that all of that was complete and total bunk. This pardon has now crystallized for Chuck Todd exactly who Joe Biden is. But even better, he admits here that Chuck Todd himself always knew what a piece of crap Joe Biden is. As we've mentioned, one of the best things about this post-pardon world we're living in are people in the media who are having to come to terms with all of the lies that have been said about Joe Biden. But my favorite part, I think, is the lies that they themselves told. For instance, this guy, Chuck Todd, NBC News. Remember him? He used to be the host of Meet the Press. Chuck Todd on Meet the Press spent most of his time telling us that Joe Biden was a great patriotic American, that Joe Biden was pure as the pristine stone, that Joe Biden is a great father and a great president, and he's exactly what this country needs to heal after the tumultuous 4 years of Donald Trump. Well, this guy, Chuck Todd, he's now realized that all of that was complete and total bunk. This pardon has now crystallized for Chuck Todd exactly who Joe Biden is. But even better, he admits here that Chuck Todd himself always knew what a piece of crap Joe Biden is. Take a look.
I follow the Hunter Biden trial very closely.
Mm-hmm.
I read every transcript, all the testimony, because that's what all that was made public. And there is, you want to get angry, just as somebody in just all these mixed emotions. You read the Hallie Biden transcript, and that's Bo's widow.
Yes.
And essentially he turned her into a crack addict. And this was all happening in 2017, 2018. And Joe Biden were so concerned about their family that they decided to run for president.
Yep.
So when you talk about the word selfish, it's almost like the word doesn't, their decision to run for president put the entire Democratic Party and the United States of America in the position that it's in now.
Yeah, that's Chris Saliza's podcast, by the way. He's the guy with the very blue horn-rimmed glasses there. Yeah, this guy. He calls himself a DC journalist as well. He was interviewing Chuck Todd, and I loved him. He was like, yes, that's right. That's right. They're selfish. They're creeps. They're liars. They're horrible presidents. They've ruined the. So at the very end there, when Chuck Todd says, their selfish decision to run for president is what's put the Democratic Party in the position it's in right now. That's the real crux of it. Okay. Now put a pin on that. I want to get back to it. But I love that he's walking down this path. I paid attention in the Hunter Biden trial, and I learned that he put his brother's widow and made her addicted to crack. And he ruined her life. And this was all happening right when Joe Biden decided to run for president. How selfish, how narcissistic, what terrible parents. They really cared about their son. They would have set aside their political ambitions. They would have taken care of him. Hunter Biden's a terrible person. Joe Biden's a terrible person. Jill Biden's a terrible person. Where the hell have you people been? First of all, we knew Joe Biden was a terrible person when he deliberately ruined Robert Bork's lies. Excuse me. God. Robert Bork's life. We knew Joe Biden was a terrible person when he deliberately ruined Robert Bork's life back in the late 80s with a mountain of lies that were concocted about him. Robert Bork was one of the most brilliant legal minds, and he should have been on the Supreme Court. Ronald Reagan nominated him, but it was Joe Biden who ran that judiciary hearing, that confirmation hearing, that based on a mountain of lies, they ruined Robert Bork's reputation, or at least they tried to. He was still an elder statesman in this town up until his death. Joe Biden also lied his way through the 1988 presidential campaign by actually stealing speeches from other people until it was found out, and his entire presidential campaign came crashing down. We knew he was a terrible person then, too. But if that wasn't enough, in 1991, Joe Biden tried to ruin Clarence Thomas's life on a mountain of lies. He tried to do the same thing all over again that he had done for Robert Bork. Clarence Thomas, a great man, a wonderful human being, but Joe Biden saw a political opportunity, so he tried to ruin his life too. Then he weaseled his way onto the ticket with Barack Obama And then once he was vice president, when he ran for re-election, he tried to ruin Mitt Romney by calling Mitt Romney a racist, by claiming that Paul Ryan was going to make grandmothers starve to death. Remember the ad throwing grandma off a cliff? That's all Joe Biden's Democrat Party that concocted all of those lies. He's a horrible person. He's not, listen, anybody who works as a senator for 50 years in Washington, D.C. is a horrible person. The fact that this is your life, that you can't actually move on from Washington and get some other job, something wrong with you. You're broken as a human being. But when his son Beau died while he was vice president, and then suddenly the tabloids all started talking about his other son Hunter in an affair with his mourning widowed sister-in-law, everybody said, ew, this is creepy. What the hell is going on here? Everyone in Washington knew about his son's drug problem. Joe Biden enabled that drug problem by getting Hunter a job in the Navy Reserves. He lasted 1 month and the Navy kicked him out for abusing their drug policies. But he continued to protect him through all of that. But think about that for a second. You know your son is a loser. You know your son has a drug problem. So what do? You stick him in the military? What a low opinion you've got of our military. And the Navy was like, I don't care what your last name is. We're not having you. And yet you still protect him. You still allow and enable and empower this. Why? Because he was the bag man for the Biden crime syndicate. We all knew all of this, Chuck Todd. Where the hell have you been? Chuck Todd is a very well-paid man whose job it is to report on and comment on American politics from Washington, D.C. And he's acting like all of this is brand new information. But what's the main thesis? What's Joe Biden's real sin? What's really got Chuck Todd so angry that now he's reached the point where he's willing to speak out? Where was this Chuck Todd when he was hosting Meet the Press for the last 6, 7, 8 years? All through the Trump presidency, all through the last part of the Obama presidency, all through the first part of the Biden presidency. Where was Chuck Todd and this realization that Joe Biden is a piece of scum? Nowhere to be seen. What is the one sin that Joe Biden has committed now that finally brings Chuck Todd out and say, all right, I can't hold it in any longer. I got to tell you how awful Joe Biden is. What was that crime? What was that sin?
So when you talk about the word selfish, it's almost like the word doesn't, their decision to run for president put the entire Democratic Party and the United States of America in the position that it's in now.
Notice the order of priorities there. His selfish decision to run for president put the Democratic Party and the United States of America, put our party and, oh, by the way, our country in the position it's in now. But by the way, just so you know, when he says that selfish decision put the United States in the position it's in right now, the position he's talking about is having to deal with 4 years of Donald Trump, because he thinks that's just worse than death. You're right. We're worse than a war, worse than, Armageddon. The fact of the matter is Joe Biden put our country through hell by lying his way all through the Senate, all through the vice presidency, and all through the presidency. He demonizes his political opponents. He's a horrible father. He's a terrible human being. And Chuck Todd has finally realized it and finally is ready to speak out again. Why? Because he hurt the Democrats. See, Biden was fine. All those sins were there. All those lies were there. All those crimes were there. All the narcissism and the selfishness, it was all there. But as long as he was able to use his political power to hurt Trump, hurt Republicans, and keep Democrats in power, then Joe Biden was just fine. But now that all of those flaws hurt the party, he has no more use for him. Now, finally, Chuck Todd can tell the truth about what he really thinks about Joe Biden, because he can't use Joe Biden anymore to hurt us and keep Democrats in power. That's the real problem. And that's why Chuck Todd's just the beginning. Just wait. Between now and Inauguration Day, just you wait to see how many people are done with Joe Biden. They are so done. Listen, welcome to the parties, pal. We appreciate it. Great to have you. But just so you know, we've been ahead of the curve on this one. We've always known Joe Biden's a piece of crap. Hey, if you open an IRA in gold with Birch Gold, you'll get a free silver. Wait, let me rephrase that. You'll get free silver shipped directly to your home. That's right. It's the most wonderful time of the year, right? Silver and gold. And it's the only time of the year that Birch Gold gives away a free 1 ounce silver eagle for every $5,000 purchased. And the best part is you don't actually have to pay a penny out of pocket. Yeah, because you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax sheltered IRA in physical gold. And Birch Gold is going to send your free silver coins directly to your home. Now, if you're thinking, I don't need to worry about silver or gold or anything like that, because my God's headed to DC. Things are good. We won the election. No. An administration trying to reverse a $36 trillion national debt in just 4 years is like a field mouse trying to stop a freight train. I love that imagery. We have a huge amount to pay on the interest on the debt alone, let alone the principal. So take action now. Text my name, Larry, Larry, to 989898 before December 18th, and you'll get a free info kit on gold, and you'll claim your eligibility for that free silver on qualifying purchases from Birch Gold. Do this before December 18th, though. Again, text Larry to the number 989898 for peace of mind that lasts longer than just 4 years.